welcome back to another video. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you want to stick around for anything arthrogryposis, low toxic, natural living, fertility, fitness, healthy cooking, lifestyle, all of those things, make sure to hit the subscribe button because you're going to see a whole ton of it once a week, every Friday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So today's video, if you cannot see by the titles, are a little bit more of a sobering topic. You know what? I'm just going to pause right here and you can go ahead and watch these clips. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, I'll show you in better lighting yet. My heart is racing. Let me show you in better lighting. There's a second line. I have waited for that second line for so long. Do you see it? It's finally happened. It's finally happened. I can't believe it. I got my positive. I can't stop staring at it. It's the next morning and I wanted to try with a digital because I wanted to see what it said. So I can't really remember where they actually left off, but yeah. So the beginning of September, we found out we were pregnant, and we had wanted to be pregnant for over a year. Well, actually, ever since the miscarriage that we had back in 2021. So after we found out we were pregnant, right around 6 weeks, I showed some signs of miscarrying. I'm not going to go into too much detail of what happened, but if you have been experiencing a miscarriage before, the first sign of a possible miscarriage you are familiar with. And so that is what happened. And I immediately called my doctor's office, and my doctor gave me some reassurance that that doesn't always mean miscarriage, but that he was going to get me scheduled in for some blood work and an ultrasound. So that was a Monday morning. On a Thursday is when I went in to get the ultrasound done and the blood work done. And that ultrasound showed that there was still a heartbeat, baby was still fine, and it was just a random occurrence that had happened on Monday. And when they tested my blood, they totally forgot to test my pregnancy hormone, so my HCG. They totally forgot to test my HCG levels. And so life went on. And then at my 9-week ultrasound, so my early date, or the dating ultrasound, once it started, the ultrasound tech was like, are you okay if we do an internal one? I'm like, okay, like at 9 weeks, you shouldn't have to do an internal one. So automatically I knew something wasn't right. And then after the ultrasound was done, she said, okay, wait here, I'm gonna go talk to your doctor. And then I knew something wasn't right. So I waited in the waiting room, and she came back and said, you're gonna have to call your doctor's office and make an appointment to get the results of this ultrasound. So I asked her, I'm like, can't you tell me if there's a heartbeat or anything? She's like, sorry, I can't tell you anything. You can either go to the emergency room and get the results there, or go home and call your doctor. So I went home, and I knew like baby is gone, but I didn't have like verbal confirmation from a healthcare professional. And so that afternoon I got a call from my midwife, and she was originally the one who ordered the ultrasound, because I wasn't sure if I was going to go with a midwife or a doctor. And so I was kind of talking to both. I wanted to see what my best options were. And my midwife was the one who originally ordered the ultrasound. So the results went to her as well. And she called me that afternoon and confirmed that baby had stopped growing around 7 weeks. And that baby had been gone for 2 weeks already, which was very frustrating because I was still very morning sick and quite nauseous. And my whole world came crashing down. I didn't even know what to do with my life. This is already my 3rd miscarriage, and I had had 2 chemical pregnancies in the past. So this was my 5th early pregnancy loss. It hit me so hard that my body could not hold on to these babies as bad as I wanted to hold them. And so I wanted to wait it out. So if you remember with my last miscarriage, I took misoprostol to make everything happen, just so it would be over quick. And it was a really rough experience. And so I wanted to avoid that at all costs if I could, and I really wanted to avoid a D&C. I just wanted my body to do this naturally on its own. And so my doctor said I had about 4 weeks from that point. I had 4 weeks from that point to when they needed to do medical intervention. So we waited. We waited 1 week, nothing happened. We waited another half a week and still nothing happened. And we had a certain event happening that weekend that I had to attend and had to be very active in, and I needed the miscarriage over. So I called my doctor and I asked for misoprostol. I was going to do it again. And so he wrote me a prescription for misoprostol, and then I also asked him for a prescription to help with the pain, because I did not want to deal with this pain if I didn't have to. And ibuprofen did diddly squat for me when it came to miscarriage pain. And so he wrote me a prescription for something similar to a T3, but it wasn't a T3. And so with this misoprostol, when I took it, once they were gone, I immediately took the pain medication, and it started within 20 minutes. So that was fantastic. And the entire day, like, we dropped Connor off with Brent's mom, and then Brent stayed home with me all day. We put in one of our favorite movies, and we just relaxed all day. And looking back, it was a very relaxing day. It was a very emotionally hard day, but the pain medication made the day bearable. And The next day it was fine, the day after that it was fine, but I still had really hard days where the pain was very unbearable, where I just spent all of my time in the shower as long as there was hot water. And once everything was said and done, like, my body was back to normal within about 3 weeks. And when everything was said and done, he asked me if he should send in a referral to a gynecologist, because after a third miscarriage, it's time to do some investigating on why this is happening. And I said I wasn't really ready for that right now. I kind of needed the winter to heal physically, heal emotionally, and basically find my place again. And so then after about a week, I realized that I didn't want to wait the winter through. I really wanted to find out why I was having so many miscarriages. And so I called my doctor back and I asked him to send in the referral, and so he did. And so I got a call from the nurse, and she said that I was now on a 3-month waiting list with the gynecologist. And so I don't know when she's gonna call me. I don't know how long I have to wait, but while I'm waiting, I'm learning to trust again. And excuse me, I'm gonna get a little bit emotional now. Over Christmas, I struggled a lot, and I thought to myself that if I was struggling this much emotionally, there was no way I was having joy. There was no way I was happy. There was no way I could enjoy Christmas with my loved ones. And ironically, that Sunday, my pastor preached a message, Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, my pastor preached a message on joy. And one of the things he said is, see, I probably won't get it word for word right, but how I understood it is, you don't have to necessarily be happy to have joy. You will be going through hard times. I'm not quoting him or anything. This is just what I got from his message. Just because you're going through hard times at a season like this, it is still possible to have joy. And up till that point, I wasn't letting myself mourn properly because I thought then I wasn't joyful. And after Christmas Day, we went back to my parents because we were visiting my parents in Alberta. After we got back to my parents after church, I went to the bathroom and I had a very good cry because I knew I needed it. I was seeing babies everywhere and pregnant people, and I wasn't letting myself mourn because I didn't think that I was joyful. But I realized that I can mourn. I am going through a difficult time. And man, I did not think I was going to cry. But then every single day throughout the holidays, when I found it hard, I went aside to our room or to the bathroom and I cried, came out, and I felt refreshed. I felt like I could get through this. I begged God to give me strength for each moment, because it wasn't even I needed strength for each day. I needed strength for each moment, for each hour, for each morning, for each afternoon, and for each evening. And I frequently had dreams that we had another baby. And once we came home and the dust settled, I still had times to this day, as you can see, where I need to have a good cry. Because I was not ready to experience another loss. Well, I don't think anybody's ever ready to experience another loss. But I was really hoping that this pregnancy would last a term. So, some of the things that Brent and I are suspecting that we have We're really hoping to get tested, and we're wanting to get those tests done ASAP because you have no idea how badly we would like to give a brother or a sister to Connor. And it breaks my heart more so for Connor that we can't give him a sibling when I see him with other children in our church and how much he enjoys their presence. And a friend of mine had a baby in October, and so when I was holding her newborn baby, Connor would come and he'd look. He wanted to see the baby. He wanted to give the baby a hug. And I know he would be such a good brother. And so it breaks my heart so terribly bad that I cannot give him this baby sibling that I know he wants. Not like, I don't think he actually knows he wants it, but once he had one, I'm sure he would love that child so much. But yeah, moving forward, we're waiting for a call from our gynecologist to see why this is happening, and I will be taking you guys along on that journey for, I guess, journaling purposes for me. Then I can look back that once we finally do have this miracle baby in our arms, that I can look back on these videos and see where my lowest point was and how God brought me through it and the miracles he's going to perform, because I already know he's going to perform miracles. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do in our life physically. And that's kind of why I took quite a break from October to December on my vlogging. It's because I needed that break. I needed to have that refresher. But yeah, that will be the end of today's video. So I'm sorry for the emotional roller coaster that I took you on. But looking ahead, we are heading to Vancouver next week for Connor's eye appointment. We'll be flying with a toddler. So that's going to be a very interesting experience. And I will be taking you all on that journey as well. So stay tuned. If you love our arthrogryposis updates, if you love fertility updates, then I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye, guys. Hi. What you doing? What you doing? Yeah.